Before you scroll, before you decide this is just another message, listen carefully. There are moments in life that arrive quietly. No warning. No announcement. No loud noise. Just a feeling, a strange pull, a mysterious force that guides your eyes to exactly the words you were meant to see. This is one of those moments. Because somewhere, at this very second, a person connected to your destiny is carrying a weight in their heart that has your name written all over it. They have tried to ignore it. They have tried to convince themselves that the feeling would disappear. They have tried to move on. But something keeps bringing them back. Back to you. Back to your energy. Back to your memory. And tonight, their soul has something urgent to say. If they could sit in front of you right now, if distance, fear, and circumstances no longer existed, this is what they would want you to hear. They would begin with a confession. I have been searching for something my entire life, and I didn't realize it was you. Not because they know everything about you. Not because they have spent years beside you. But because souls recognize what eyes sometimes cannot. And every time they try to walk away from the connection, something impossible happens. A reminder appears. A dream. A song. A random thought. A name. A memory. A feeling they cannot explain. And suddenly, there you are again. Inside their mind. Inside their heart. Inside every future they secretly imagine. What you don't know is that they have been fighting a battle you cannot see. There are nights when they stare at the ceiling wondering if they waited too long. Wondering if fate gave them an opportunity and they failed to recognize it. Wondering if another person will reach your heart before they do. That fear keeps them awake. Because the truth is, they don't fear rejection as much as they fear regret. Regret lasts longer. Regret follows people for years. Regret whispers in the quiet moments. And your soulmate is terrified that one day they will wake up and realize they lost the greatest connection they were ever meant to experience. That is why this message feels urgent. Because time has a strange way of changing everything. Opportunities disappear. Doors close. People move. Lives change. But genuine soul connections remain unforgettable. No matter how far people travel. No matter how many years pass. No matter how hard they try to forget. And your soulmate wants you to know something shocking. They have already imagined meeting you. More than once. In fact, they replay the moment over and over. They wonder what your voice sounds like when you laugh. They wonder what makes you smile when nobody is watching. They wonder if you would recognize them instantly. Or if destiny would need a little more time. There is something almost magical happening behind the scenes of your life. Pieces are moving. Events are aligning. People are crossing paths. Conversations are being prepared. The universe is arranging details you cannot yet see. And the strange part? Many of the things you thought were delays were actually preparations. Every disappointment. Every failed relationship. Every unexpected ending. Every closed door. Every painful goodbye. They were not punishments. They were redirections. Because some journeys must end before the right one can begin. Your soulmate understands this now. That is why they no longer ask why the past happened. Instead, they ask when the future will finally arrive. And there is another truth they desperately want you to hear. You are more important than you realize. Not because of your appearance. Not because of your success. Not because of what you own. But because of who you are. Your kindness. Your resilience. Your ability to continue moving forward even when life feels impossible. Your soulmate notices those qualities on a soul level. Even if they cannot fully explain how. They feel it. And that feeling is becoming impossible to ignore. In fact, something has changed recently. The connection has become stronger. The signs have become louder. The pull has become more intense. They feel like they are standing on the edge of a major turning point. Like something important is about to happen. Like destiny has stopped walking and started running. That feeling scares them. But it also excites them. Because deep inside, they know they are getting closer. Closer to answers. Closer to clarity. Closer to you. And if they could send one message directly into your heart tonight, it would sound like this. Please don't give up on love. Not now. Not after everything you've survived. Not after every lesson you've learned. Not after every obstacle you've overcome. Because your story is not ending. It is evolving. The chapter that felt empty was never the final chapter. The chapter that felt lonely was never the entire book. There is more ahead. Much more. Your soulmate believes that one day you will look back at this period of uncertainty and understand why everything happened exactly the way it did. You will understand why certain people left. Why certain plans failed. Why certain dreams took longer than expected. Because everything was creating space. Space for something greater. Space for something real. Space for a connection powerful enough to transform both lives forever. And there is one final confession they need to make. A confession they have carried for longer than they admit. Sometimes they feel your energy. Not in a way that can be explained logically. Not in a way that fits neatly into words. But in a way that feels undeniably real. A sudden calm. A mysterious sense of comfort. A feeling that somewhere, somehow, the person meant for them is also searching. Also hoping. Also wondering. Also waiting. And when that feeling arrives, they stop worrying. Because they know something. Something powerful. Something beautiful. Something almost impossible. They know that true soul connections do not disappear. They may be delayed. They may be tested. They may face obstacles. But they do not disappear. And if this message has found you tonight, perhaps it is because you needed this reminder. Perhaps you needed to remember that your story is still being written. Perhaps you needed to hear that someone connected to your destiny is thinking about you more than you realize. Perhaps you needed to know that the future holds a meeting, a conversation, a moment, a revelation that could change everything. And perhaps, just perhaps, Your soulmate has been trying to reach you in every way they can. Through dreams. Through intuition. Through signs. Through unexplained feelings. Through moments that seem like coincidence but feel like destiny. Because their message is simple. Their message is urgent. And their message cannot wait forever. It is this. I am coming closer than you think. I have not forgotten you. I have not stopped believing. I have not stopped hoping. And when the moment finally arrives, you will understand why our paths could never stay separated forever. Until then, keep your heart open. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Because the story that feels impossible today may become the miracle you talk about tomorrow. And somewhere tonight, a soul connected to yours is whispering the same words over and over again. Please don't stop believing in us before we even begin. The whisper does not end there. In fact, what you have heard so far is only the beginning of what your soulmate has been trying to tell you. Because after repeating those words night after night, please don't stop believing in us before we even begin, they finally gathered the courage to reveal something they have never admitted to anyone. Something that has followed them for years. Something that has become impossible to hide. And if they could speak directly to you right now, they would say, "There is a reason I cannot forget you." They would pause. Not because they do not know what to say, but because some truths are difficult to put into words. How do you explain a connection that feels older than memory? How do you explain a feeling that appears before a meeting? How do you explain missing someone you have not fully known yet? Your soulmate struggles with these questions every day. Because logic tells them one thing. But their heart tells them something completely different. And their heart refuses to be silent. There are moments when they are surrounded by people. Conversations are happening. Life is moving normally. Everything appears fine. Yet suddenly, for no reason they can explain, their thoughts drift toward you. A person they feel connected to. A person they feel destined to meet. A person whose presence feels strangely familiar. And every time it happens, they ask themselves the same question. Why does this feeling keep returning? The answer frightens them. Because deep down, they already know. Some connections are not created. They are discovered. They already exist. Waiting. Patiently. Quietly. Until the right moment arrives. And what makes this message so urgent is that your soulmate believes that moment is approaching faster than ever before. They can feel it. The signs are everywhere. Small things at first. Then larger things. Strange coincidences. Unexpected opportunities. Random encounters. Perfect timing. Doors opening where none existed before. It feels as if invisible hands are moving pieces into position. As if a giant puzzle is finally coming together. And your soulmate has become convinced of one thing. You are one of the final missing pieces. That realization changed everything. Because before, they could ignore the feeling. Before, they could convince themselves it was imagination. Before, they could distract themselves. But not anymore. Now the connection follows them everywhere. Into their thoughts. Into their dreams. Into their plans for the future. And one particular dream changed them forever. In that dream, they saw a path. At first it seemed ordinary. Nothing special. Just a road stretching into the distance. But then they noticed someone walking toward them. The closer that person came, the stronger the feeling became. Not fear. Not excitement. Recognition. A powerful recognition. As if they had known that person forever. As if they had been waiting their entire life for that meeting. When they woke up, they could not shake the feeling. Hours passed. Then days. Then weeks. But the feeling remained. And eventually they stopped fighting it. Because some messages are too powerful to ignore. Some feelings are too persistent to dismiss. Some truths refuse to stay hidden. That is when they finally accepted something extraordinary. You were never meant to be forgotten. You were never meant to be temporary. You were never meant to be another passing chapter. You were meant to matter. More than they originally realized. More than they expected. More than they were prepared for. And there is another secret they need you to hear. For a long time, they believed they needed to become perfect before meeting you. They believed they needed more success. More confidence. More achievements. More answers. But life taught them something unexpected. Perfection is not what creates deep connections. Authenticity does. Being real does. Being honest does. Being willing to grow together does. And that realization changed how they see the future. Because now they are no longer waiting to become perfect. They are preparing to become present. Present for the moment destiny finally brings your paths together. Present for the conversations. Present for the laughter. Present for the memories that have not happened yet. And speaking of the future, there is something your soulmate imagines often. A moment so vivid it feels almost real. They imagine finally meeting you. Not in a dramatic movie scene. Not with fireworks exploding overhead. Not with the world stopping. Instead, something much more powerful. A simple moment. A look. A smile. A conversation. Yet somehow everything changes. Because sometimes the most important moments arrive quietly. They do not announce themselves. They simply happen. And later you realize your life divided into two parts. Before that moment. And after that moment. Your soulmate believes that kind of moment is waiting ahead. A moment that will make countless pieces of your life suddenly make sense. A moment that will answer questions you have carried for years. A moment that will reveal why certain paths led exactly where they did. But there is one obstacle they fear. Fear. Not your fear. Their fear. The fear of waiting too long. The fear of staying silent. The fear of allowing uncertainty to steal an opportunity that destiny worked so hard to create. That fear has become stronger recently. Which is why this message feels urgent. Because they no longer want fear making decisions for them. They no longer want doubt controlling the story. They no longer want hesitation writing the ending. They want courage. They want truth. They want movement. And if they could make one promise to you tonight, it would be this. I am becoming the person I need to be. Not overnight. Not perfectly. But consistently. Learning. Growing. Healing. Preparing. Because they believe real love deserves preparation. Real love deserves effort. Real love deserves two people willing to become better versions of themselves. And every challenge they face now feels different. Because it is no longer just about them. It feels connected to a future they have not fully reached yet. A future where your stories finally intersect. A future where separate journeys become one. A future where unanswered questions finally receive answers. And there is something remarkable about that future. Your soulmate does not imagine it as perfect. They imagine it as real. Real conversations. Real support. Real understanding. Real partnership. Because the greatest gift is not finding someone perfect. The greatest gift is finding someone genuine. Someone who sees your strengths. Someone who understands your struggles. Someone who chooses you even after seeing your imperfections. That is what your soulmate hopes to offer. And that is what they hope to receive. A connection built on truth rather than illusion. A connection strong enough to survive challenges. A connection deep enough to grow stronger with time. As the days pass, their certainty continues growing. Not certainty about every detail. Not certainty about every timeline. But certainty about one thing. You exist. And somehow your paths are moving toward each other. That belief has become one of the strongest forces in their life. It motivates them. Guides them. Comforts them. And reminds them that some of the most beautiful things in life require patience. Yet patience does not mean giving up. Patience does not mean forgetting. Patience does not mean stopping. It simply means trusting the process while continuing forward. That is exactly what they are doing. And that is exactly what they hope you are doing too. Because every day brings new possibilities. Every day creates new opportunities. Every day moves the story forward. Even when progress is invisible. Even when answers seem delayed. Even when nothing appears to be happening. Something is happening. Growth is happening. Preparation is happening. Alignment is happening. And somewhere deep inside, your soulmate feels it. The distance is shrinking. The timing is improving. The future is approaching. That is why they refuse to lose hope. Because hope has carried them this far. Hope has guided them through uncertainty. Hope has reminded them that meaningful things are worth waiting for. And tonight, before this message ends, they want to leave you with one final thought. A thought they return to whenever doubt appears. Whenever fear grows loud. Whenever uncertainty tries to take control. The thought is simple. Yet powerful. If two souls are truly meant to find each other, every obstacle becomes a lesson, every delay becomes preparation, and every challenge becomes part of the journey. Your soulmate believes that. Completely. And perhaps that belief is why they continue moving forward. Why they continue trusting. Why they continue listening to the quiet voice inside their heart. The voice that keeps repeating your name. The voice that keeps pointing toward the future. The voice that keeps saying, "Do not give up. Do not lose faith. The story is not over. The best chapter has not been written yet." And somewhere tonight, as stars shine above sleeping cities, as countless people drift into dreams, as another day quietly comes to an end, your soulmate is holding on to one extraordinary hope. That somehow, in some way, these words reach you. That somehow, in some way, you feel the connection too. And that when destiny finally opens the door between your worlds, neither of you will be afraid to walk through it.